Today, I want to talk about what I think is the most important position for Oklahoma on the offensive side in this spring period. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about what I believe is the most important position for Oklahoma on the offensive side of the ball in this spring period. It's not wide receiver, certainly not quarterback, and it's not running back. It's not even like offensive tackle where you got to replace Adrian Ely. It's offensive center, right? You're talking about Creed Humphrey, who is eligible for the NFL draft, but you're not just talking about Creed Humphrey. You're talking about a player who started for 3 years at center for you, who at one point Lincoln Riley called the most talented football player on their team when Kyler Murray was the quarterback, and a man who had 1,300 snaps, giving up just 28 pressures at the position over those 3 years. It's a lot, but it was a lot when Ty Darlington had the job. It was a lot when Gabe Eichert had the job, right? And on down the line. We could talk about Vince Carter. We could talk about Chester. We could talk about all sorts of folks at the center position. But what I know is when Oklahoma has been really good at the center position, the offensive line has been really good as well. Getting Wanye Morris in at that tackle position, I think, is going to help you tremendously. Eric Swinson is still around, but I don't know that Eric Swinson gets to keep his job. Anton Harrison is right there. Stacey Wilkins is right there. Bill Bedenbaugh has what he needs there. But there are other guys that are intriguing at that center position, like Robert Congo, who transferred in from Arizona. He's got a really interesting path to Oklahoma, right? He is a sophomore on the state championship team, IMG Academy, right? Walks on at Texas A&M when Kevin Sumlin is still the head coach. Sumlin takes a job at Arizona. He transfers to Arizona and wins himself a scholarship, ends up starting at guard, and can play some center at Oklahoma, about 6'4", 305. For perspective, Creed Humphrey, 6'5", 320. Also there, Nate Anderson, who looked like an ace tight end in high school, right? Was tremendously athletic, and that's what you were really buying into. You're buying into his potential to grow into a larger frame dude that could still move. Another guy that apparently is getting reps there is Chris Murray, transfer from UCLA. So that's 3 right there, and I haven't even said Andrew Raym, right? But I've always thought that Andrew Raym could get an opportunity to take a look at that shot, especially if something happened to EJ Ndoma-Ogar, and something did happen. He transferred to Missouri. So you're going to see somebody entirely new, and I would not be shocked to see more than one person get a shot to play that position to start the season. You might start with rising senior Ian McIver and make your way to Robert Congo, and then you might want to get in reps for guys like Nate Anderson, and see what you have in Chris Murray. Though, knowing that you got your guards basically with some experience, being ready to go on that offensive line, I would ask them all the questions in the world about which dudes they like playing the best with, because we also know that Bedenbaugh is going to get his guys reps. They're going to go against each other. They're going to split up into small groups. They're going to get the reps in. But I believe that you're only as good as those other 4 dudes around you. And offensive line is so interesting and intricate in that way. Offensive linemen will tell me, yo, we could have a really talented dude on the line, but if he's not meshing with us and the chemistry is off, we're not going to be any good. We would much rather have a less talented dude who is in sync with us on that line, because then we're going to be able to do our jobs better. It's not just about what you can do, it's about what we can do, whether that be pass blocking or run blocking. And that is important to think about as we move forward, right? Because drilling down on the center position is also drilling down on the other quarterback on your offense. He is calling out the mic. He's calling out audibles. He's making sure protections are in place. He's making this a safe place for Spencer Rattler to cook. Like, that's his job. And most of the time, the smartest dudes on your football team often are not just your offensive lineman, but your offensive center, because they got to know not just what they're doing, but what you're doing and what the defensive front is doing, right? And the only thing that I would have really dinged Creed Humphrey for I should say the only things are these, right? The first one is, 28 pressures, but I think like all of them came against came against Bravian Roy and Tyler Shelvin. Bravian Roy being the 400-pound nose tackle at Baylor, Tyler Shelvin being the 350-pound nose tackle at LSU. The oversized dude in the three-man front playing the zero was really giving him hell, a la Jordan Phillips at Oklahoma some years ago. So I would love to see a center that could take on that challenge and free up the guard to help, down the field, or either get to another blocking assignment as opposed to, chipping and making sure you stay in there, because that's what that defense is designed to do. It's designed to make you go 2-on-1. You can't have that with your center. The other thing was he was botching snaps. Like, the man would just botch the snap. Either snap it wrongly or snap it in a way in which the quarterback couldn't handle it, and it would drive me crazy. Yeah, you're really talented, but you can't get the snap down. I also understand snapping the football is difficult, and we don't put a lot of emphasis on being able to do that as a skill, just as we don't put a lot of emphasis on being able to kick a football through the uprights until dudes start missing them. And then we're like, how do you not have a kicker? Where do we get a kicker? Turns out kickers aren't that easy to come by. But that is no excuse for not having one, especially if you expect to compete for national championships each and every year. Like about 8 to 9 teams tend to, right? And Oklahoma wants to be one of those teams that is not cycling through going to win national championships, but it is in the thick of it each and every year. You got to have a great kicker. You got to have a great center. I think if they get that figured out this spring, they give themselves a tremendous head start going into the fall, because that's less reps you got to think about, and that's less about the depth chart that you got to know about. And then you're able to really experiment and see what you can get out of those other guys at those other positions, because center, you just got to be good enough to play guard, because somebody's going to get hurt. And you only have so many scholarship players. So everybody has to at least know what they're doing at the other positions, and then while also trying to perfect the position that they are playing. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.